Nintendo has been holding out on us for a new Animal Crossing, so we, the die-hard fans, did what Nintendo didn't do. We are stepping in, and I have created for you a complete game concept for Animal Crossing Switch 2. And this whole season on this podcast, we are taking you concept by concept through this document to hype you up for what could be on the new horizons for Animal Crossing. This is the Nintendidn't, So We Did podcast, episode 1 with me, Super Koopa. Just a personal note as we're getting started here, thank you to all who watched my last podcast. We are making some improvements, including a podcast mic, and we are using an awesome new program. And so most of my demographic of watchers of this channel are between the ages of 24 and 30 years old, which is a little bit weird because I've used to make content for teens for a long time. But now this is getting into the more young adult realm. And hey, I am also in that demographic, and this is stuff that I'm interested in. And it makes sense because Animal Crossing and Nintendo was pretty big around the DS era, and all that time would have been the system that gamers that are around my age would have been playing. And so it makes sense that you guys would be interested in hearing more about this game that I'm creating, as well as more content on my channel. So I'm really happy to be doing this podcast formula today because I feel like for our age demographic, this is how we like to communicate and learn information. Also, another thing that a lot of us tend to do nowadays is we like to make concepts and we like to bring our ideas to the table because we all feel like we have something special to bring when it comes to our thoughts on past games or even new games that we're conceptualizing. Some people make custom tracks for Mario Kart. Some people design levels. And for me, my contribution to this community, I want this to be these game concepts that I fully think out. And I'm sure many of you have done this already, but for me, this dream game that I'm dreaming up is for Animal Crossing. Now, Animal Crossing has been one of those series for me that has just been there when times got pretty tough. When I was a teenager, I went through some depression, and Animal Crossing was right there to help me get back into socialization with friends and stay connected to my best friend. And also, I was in a relationship at the time, and we would often meet in Animal Crossing to get together and to talk. And we didn't have cell phones at the time. We only used Skype all those years ago. And so now, in this digital age where all that seems like a faint memory, I would love there to be another Animal Crossing where connectivity with a community of people who love the game, that would be the main concept of the game. We've heard some leaks of some of the things that Nintendo has supposedly been brainstorming for this next game, and it has to do with a larger multiplayer experience. And I think that would be great to bring Animal Crossing back to what it's supposed to be. Communication, a game all about communicating, giving you a small town kind of like homey feel. In fact, the creator of Animal Crossing himself made the game to feel like home as he was back at the Nintendo HQ making these games. He wanted a taste of how it felt to be a child back when he used to roam around collecting bugs in his neighborhood and exploring his backyard and playing with his animal friends, which in this game are anthropomorphic animals that walk around, but for him, maybe they were real. And for me as a kid, like, I was kind of sheltered and there was a lot of stuff that happened in my life, but Animal Crossing, I even feel it today, has been one of those things when I see a moon phase in the sky, for example, like I see the moon in the sky, I think of Animal Crossing or a summer day. It reminds me of music that would be playing in Animal Crossing, and so I have a very big connection with this game. And so conceptualizing a game for this specific series was very easy for me to do because it's something that I've been into for a lot of years. I started playing Wild World on the DS in 2008, I believe, and then I have owned all the games since then, including City Folk, New Leaf, and New Horizons. And so I'm excited and hyped to talk about a new game that I have completely conceptualized for you. What we're going to be doing on this season of the podcast, like I said in the introduction, is we are going to be going through this entire concept. I have made a complete document of this game that I have created, and it is very detailed, and there's a lot of new features to explore. So I hope that you will stick along with me on this journey as we are talking about Animal Crossing Small Town Big City. I played City Folk and I liked that game, and there was a city in that game, but it wasn't the best game in the series, and I think there's a lot of things that could definitely be improved on that experience of going to the city. And so I was conceptualizing a game that would be set in the city, and it kind of goes along with some of those supposed leaks where you'll be in a city and there'll be drivable vehicles and stuff, but the more that I thought about it, the more that didn't really feel like a full Animal Crossing experience. It's something new entirely. And so what I would like to do is I want to still keep elements of that small town experience as well as give you a big city experience where you can connect with friends and do these amazing new activities to do with people and by yourself to unlock new things for your small town and for the game in general. I've even thought out the DLC in the future of the game as well, so that there can be things to look forward to add on to the game in the future. Now, Animal Crossing is not coming out anytime soon. I don't believe 2026 is the year that Animal Crossing will be coming out for the Nintendo Switch 2. I think it's going to be a lot longer. They're currently working on Splatoon Raiders, which is the same studio that works on Animal Crossing. So it's going to be a little while before, and that hasn't even been fully we haven't seen a trailer for it aside from the date and that small little trailer. And so for Animal Crossing, I think we're way on the horizons for that one. I think that game could be coming out in 2027 or even 2028. That's a long time from now. And so this document, I'm hoping, will get you hyped up for whatever this next Animal Crossing is going to be. And maybe, just maybe, Nintendo will hear about our ideas and steal them, like they always do with me and my friends' ideas. Me and Supaloopa, his name is Drew, he is also a co-host on this channel from the past, and we would come up with these crazy ideas, and Nintendo would hear us, supposedly, right? And these ideas actually come to pass. And so I'm hoping that by, I guess some people will call it manifesting, but I don't really believe in that. I'm just saying, if I'm putting these ideas out into the world for the world to see, then maybe, just maybe, some of these things might come true. And these are a lot of things that I think you guys have been thinking about as well as the fans. All right, let's get into the document. So just so you know, the document is available in the show notes as well as on my YouTube channel description of this video. If you're watching on YouTube, then you're getting this new background. If my cats come in and out, then just welcome them with open arms. And if you're listening here on Spotify on the podcast format, I'm glad you made it today. Make sure you stick around to the end. I love just sharing my thoughts with you, and I hope that this sit down with us today can really be a time that you enjoy, and it can really pass the time together in a cozy way. All right, let's open up the document, and the first thing that you're going to see is our introduction. So every good game has a good introduction, and Animal Crossing is no different. Typically in the past, we've either been riding on a train, we've been in a taxi, sometimes we've flown in on an airplane even, and so there's always this cool introduction to the game. So this is how I would start the game. Introduction: the train ride. You're a broke human, you have 0 bells, and you're on a one-way train ride to a new place and a fresh start. The voice over the train car asks you some questions about your life and your appearance. This is your opportunity to pick what style your villager is, if you're more leaning towards a male or female style. And they're going to ask you some questions about your name and your life. Now, as you're doing that, the train is going to go through a tunnel and will stop at a small town. Now, when you get on this train, you're expecting to go to a human small town to start a new life. And as you get off the train, you're surprised that the train driver, Porter, is an anthropomorphic monkey. Puzzled, you find out that you've arrived in a town whose name has already been chosen, and it's filled with infrastructure and animals that you can explore. This is an opportunity for a new life, but it was probably not what you were expecting. See, for this game, I would like it so that you don't have a whole lot of choice in the beginning of the game. The idea is you're going into this place, kind of like, and I'll liken it to Stardew Valley, how you have this town and it's already laid out, and people have already started living there, and you're coming into a town that's already been named, and You're a nobody. And so in this game, you cannot pick your town name or your layout, but I want to reassure you that you can change it later. Now, how that's going to happen, I will reveal in later podcasts. But for now, I just want to reassure you that the town name and the layout, terraforming included, can be changed later on. But for the early game, and for most of the mid game as well, that will be something that you won't even need to worry about. It's going to be so minor. Now, how does that work? Well, let's continue. So Porter asks you to go meet the mayor to do something about lodging since you have no money. He gives you a map so you can locate the town square. You cannot choose your town layout. It is chosen at random for you to mold later on. The train station is always located at the middle top of your town. There is also a road that you can cross when leaving the station. Each small town save file will have a native tree, flower, and bush. All right. Well, that is the first new part of this game, is that lack of control. And when I was thinking about an Animal Crossing game, especially New Horizons, what I've realized lately is they give you almost like a godlike power in the game to control your environment, to say when your villagers stay and go. And for somebody who is a very creative person and has a very distinct way they want their island to be, that makes total sense. However, that is not how the game series started. In fact, you had very little control of anything. Layout of the town, where the animals were set up, even like the little plots for the animals' houses, you had no control to move those or where they moved in. So if you had flowers over one of those signposts, a villager could just randomly move in there and all of your progress or your paths or flowers would be completely lost. And so I think that going back to those roots where you don't have as much control, especially to the early mid game, would be the best way to go. Because let's be honest, guys, this world craves control. And this world is all about themselves. They want to be gods. They want to control everything. But that's not what Animal Crossing was ever meant to be about. And quite frankly, I just want to say this too. That's not what life is about. Controlling your environment and trying to make it the way that you want it to be. The world doesn't revolve around you. And so the concept of small town, big city is that you are going into a place to make it better. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get all the dreams fulfilled that you want, but you get a chance to make all of these villagers' dreams come true by helping them get a struggling town back from the brink of total extinction. Everybody loves the movie Cars, right? It reminds me of the movie Cars, how Lightning McQueen comes to this dusty old off the map town. They're struggling to make ends meet and he just falls in love with the people there. And then once he wins the Piston Cup, he comes back and makes it a place that is now famous and a place that people want to go. He puts it back on the map. And that's what I think this Animal Crossing game would kind of be like, is that classic story from the movie Cars. A story about putting yourself last and putting others' needs first. And truly, guys, I believe that in life, that is what we're supposed to do. I believe that putting others' needs before ourselves is the most selfless and best thing that you could do, and it is the most fulfilling way to live your life. I'm a Christian, and so that I operate under the morals of do unto others as you would want others to do to you, and also to treat others better than I may want to treat myself. In fact, the way that Jesus treated other people was he was willing to be a servant for them, and he was willing to lay his life on the line for people who did not even love him. And I don't mean to make it this whole theological thing, but this is just rooted in my DNA as a Christian and as a believer. And so I truly believe that making a game that is less about yourself and more about other people, whether it's connecting with them or just, a silly concept of connecting with villagers, it really aligns with my beliefs and how I believe that the world should be operating, a less selfish and more others-focused mindset. So that's kind of my little theological break there. But let's kind of continue into our introduction. That's kind of my why behind the game, because we just need to really be moving away from that godlike mode of like always having control and terraforming and everything. We need to wait and put a pause on that and just go back to the roots of what Animal Crossing has been for a lot of years. All right, so here is our next part of the introduction, the mayoral office. Passing villagers will only have them react to you as you're on the way to the mayoral office. You can't talk to them unless you talk to the mayor. They will act shocked or angry or scared at you. This is the first human that they've seen in a long time. The post office and all shops will be closed as well until this cutscene is over. So your one mission, get and talk to the mayor. You'll find the town hall building at the top of your town square. This can be located anywhere in the town. So when you enter the town hall in your town square, you will enter and find Mayor Tortimer and assistant Isabel at their front desk office. Talking to them will trigger the beginning dialogue. Mayor Tortimer and Isabel as an assistant to the mayor. This is a returning feature. Mayor Tortimer has been gone for a couple games, and Isabel has kind of been, involved a lot. She was the assistant to you as the mayor in New Leaf. In New Horizons, we had kind of Tom Nook and Isabel working together in resident services. But now I would love to bring that town hall back, because now we can bring back the Pelicans. Mal will be relevant again. And I can't wait to share these concepts with you. Let's continue. The mayor, aka Tortimer, explains that the town has become really run down recently. It used to be a place where humans and animals coexisted to make a welcoming place for each other. He says they've all moved to a new place, and he calls it the big city, to pursue riches and fame and control, leaving the community of animal villagers behind. Isn't that so sad? He says he feels like we, as the player, were sent here for a reason. We're the first human that they've seen in multiple years. And so he agrees to give us a temporary lodging option. Tortimer doesn't walk around much, and he kind of wants to retire soon. So he has hired Isabel to assist him in town affairs. He sends her to help you to find a place to place your tent. So he doesn't really go with you. He sends Isabel everywhere to check in on you, to walk alongside you as you're finding the place you want to put your tent and all of that. She follows you to whatever location you choose, like in Animal Crossing New Leaf. She won't enter a beach, or she won't go too close to like landmarks. Just follow you to let's just say a valid spot. Okay, let's move on to what the player home is going to look like. So this temporary lodging option, what would be a temporary lodging option? Okay, a tent. So we've had tents before. In New Leaf, we kind of started off by having a tent that you would start in, and then you would grow to a house. Same in New Horizons, and we also started with a tent. However, I loved the tent idea, and I wish that aesthetically we could keep the tent around for a lot longer if we wanted to. Enter my player home idea, which is the octagonal tent. Now, you'd probably think that having an octagonal tent would be a huge waste of space, but if you stick around for future podcasts, you will actually find the truth about how you were able to accomplish this. And I'll just kind of give you a spoiler, because I've already made a video on it on the MFC. I would like to introduce 45-degree angles. I'll just leave it at that for now. Let your imagination run wild on there. So I actually made a starting tent grid. I'm not able to put it on the screen right now, but if you go check out the document, you can access that tent grid and how it can be expanded and what that could look like. So the starting tent grid offers 24 full spots and 12 45-degree spots to place furnishings. And that will make more sense as time goes on. Let's continue forward. You can actually upgrade your tent to a larger scale, and upgrade and expand your tent to include extra wings, which are 5x4 square rooms on either side of the tent, decorations, like for example, hanging Edison lights, tapestries, tent toppers. You can earn upgrades by helping other neighbors and cleaning up the town, and you can also change the exterior tent cloth, patterns, colors, all those things, and those will be sold at the Able Sisters in this game after you have upgraded the Able Sisters at least one time. More on that in the next video about the shops and how you can upgrade them. All right, let's talk about getting to know animal villagers. So after you've completed this first quest, your first steps into small town life do not begin with a bunch of gotcha tasks by Tom Nook right away. But if you want to move up in the game to get the upgrades and all those things, you can complete the mail delivery story arc by talking to Pete, who is located in the post office once again after meeting the mayor. Now, Pete, in this, whole endeavor, will share that he is tired out from all the mail that is streaming in. In this town, mail is really relevant, sending gifts, letters, all this stuff, communicating with people, getting back to the things that we used to do, not just social media all the time, but getting back to sending handwritten letters. I think that is so awesome. You can agree to help Pete deliver messages and gifts to villagers in town, and this will help you to get to know them. Yeah, you can talk to them, but actually getting the ball rolling is kind of the idea of doing this Pete mission. You're going to want to do this pretty early on in the game. You won't be able to progress too much. There will be a special package or letter for each villager in your town that actually will hint at some special qualities about them. For example, their aspiration in this game. More on that in the near future about villager personalities, aspirations, and dreams. I'm excited to share those with you. And actually, for that video, I'm going to be bringing on a special guest to share with them and hear their thoughts as well. So stay tuned for that on the podcast. Let me just give you an example. I'm using the villager Zell for an example. In a lot of these things, Zell is getting a letter denying his access to a music school. Or Hazel is getting a letter back that she wrote on her own stationery. All right. Well, what about the town? What makes this town different than other games? Because we've seen forest, we've seen, town, we've seen island, but what sets this town apart? Well, similar to Animal Crossing New Horizons, there is a whole town filled with a lot of natural resources to collect, like fallen trees and logs that you get to break with your axe, shrubs and bushes scattered around the town. These will actually be in your town. You don't have to plant them. They will be naturally growing and generated in your town. Dead flower gardens needing reviving, a ton of weeds, garbage like soda cans, tires, and more on the land and on the beach. Digging collectibles like gyroid fragments, fossils, and a new concept that I've created called relics. More on that in the future. And rocks with resources including ores. Ores are making a return from Animal Crossing New Leaf. More on that in the future too. But the one returning thing that I am most excited about is the Rafflesia flower. Now this was a flower that would appear, to my knowledge, I only know Wild World on, and so it might have appeared in Population Growing for the GameCube for the Animal Crossing game. But I just know that in Wild World, I had that flower in my town, and it would not die for a long time. So these rotting flowers cannot be dug up until the town has been cleaned up a lot more. I call that concept of cleaning up the town making it a more welcoming state or a more welcoming town. So more on that verbiage later. So the flower will eventually wilt and go away after the town has been tended to. This flower also attracts bugs, including flies and sometimes ants. So what your small town life is all about is fixing villager homes and cleaning up your town. Here's more on villager homes, and then we're going to close out the podcast today. Villager homes are wearing down when you come to town. Helping them fix up leaks in the roof, find their lost key, like what happened in Animal Crossing City Folk, clean their windows, or other tasks involving resources in town may grant you tent upgrades. NPC shops all begin rundown as well, and with limited resources, kind of like the starter shops in past games, like Nook's Cranny is like this small little shack, and it's the same in this case. It's really run down, and they don't have a lot of inventory to give. just shopping at their businesses alone can give them the income that they need to upgrade and increase their shop frequency to include many more resources that you would like for your town. Once each has been upgraded at least once, a big city sponsor will come to town and help upgrade their shop, and so that it's more fully stocked and at a more expanded state. And you'll see more in the next section. And then I'm going to close with this. Small town life, the town square and progression. The town square is the centerpiece of your town. It can be located on the first level of any eligible place in town. It's quite a big area, so it could be located anywhere. The small businesses in the town square are permanent, and they are all rotated on a 45-degree angle. We got to bring it back. Going indoors at 45 degrees hasn't been back since, I believe, City Folk. But I'll give you a little spoiler about what I think would be really awesome. I would love if you can have alternate camera angles and turn your camera 360. I think that would be so cool to view extra details around town. And so there are 16 possible combinations and orders of the shops that they can appear in. There are 4 total shops, and so their location in the town square will be randomized, and whatever you get at the beginning of the game is what you get to keep. So it might be a little bit different of a location where the shop is in those 4 corners of the town square, depending on your save file. So I think that's pretty cool. It gives an individuality to your save file, even if you can't pick the name or the layout of your town, if that makes sense. All right, so next time, guys, we're going to be digging into the next part of this document where we get to talk all about the NPC buildings that are located in the town square, how you upgrade them, and there's some new ones to explore with new NPC villagers that are starting their small businesses, they're struggling, and like that movie Cars that we talked about earlier, we get to help them grow their business and become on the map once again. So I hope that you enjoyed this concept of Animal Crossing Small Town Big City. This is the very first installment of the podcast. I hope that you will come back and listen very soon to all of the other information that I would love to share, but I hope this just scratched the itch and gave you a little bit more towards the why I created this document, to get back to what Animal Crossing and what I believe life is truly about. And that's putting others over yourself and not having a whole lot of control in life. If you feel that your life is out of control and things are crazy in your life, you're not alone. I have felt that many times, and I can feel that right now. We're in the middle of a potential move. My car got hit the other day when we were in it, and we're trying to get a new leased car. Adulting is crazy. And so if you're struggling with adulting, feel free to reach out to us and we can try to help you out with that. I just hope that by talking about this that you feel just a little bit better and more excited for what could be coming on the horizons for Animal Crossing 6 or Animal Crossing on the Switch 2. This has been the Nintendidn't, but we did podcast with me, Super Koopa, aka Dare. If you want to check out our YouTube channel where we've already created so much content on Animal Crossing Small Town Big City, check it out at the MFC, and it's short for the Mario Family Channel. Hope you guys are having a great day wherever you're at. Make sure to tune into the next one where we talk about NPC shops and buildings in the town square and so much more. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Have a great one and take care. And also, this outro is the Small Town Big City main theme. Here we go.